I'm
Joined
good.
by Regan Hendry. Regan, thanks very much for coming on, mate. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm not too bad, mate. Thanks for having me.
We'll start off with the quick fire questions. Put you under a wee bit of pressure.
Yeah, no problem.
Your favourite holiday destination?
Uh, I've been to New York 3 or 4 times, so I'd say that.
Your favourite cheat meal?
um, Probably Chinese.
What you gone for? Robbie D said gravy, didn't I say gravy?
Nah, I seen that. I watched a wee minute or two of that. Nah, it's never been gravy, mate. I go salt and chili chips, salt and chili chicken, curry sauce, egg fried rice. Bosh.
That's solid. I like that. The
That's
best
it.
player you've played with?
Um, Probably Kane Wilson at Forest Green.
Any superstitions before games?
Nah, I mean I do. Have like a wee Red Bull and that, but I wouldn't call it a superstition. If I don't have one, I'm not too bothered. But yeah,
Your favourite TV programme?
um, probably I like the series You on Netflix. Decent.
Your favourite film?
Uh, James Bond, Casino Royale.
Good choice.
Uh,
Good job if you weren't a footballer.
I'd like to be a golfer, but realistically, I honestly don't know. Something football related.
Your favourite singer or band?
Uh, Probably Lewis Capaldi or Ed Sheeran.
Your karaoke song? I can't see you doing a Lewis Capaldi one, man. That's brave.
Nah, that won't go down well in a room. I usually just go for Stand By Me just because it's easy. You can almost speak.
Difficult answer that.
You can almost, it's almost like you're just speaking it. It's easy.
We'll get into it then.
Yeah, go for
What would you say your early football memories are?
it. Probably watching my big brother. He played before me. He went through the Ipswich and Hibs youth system, but probably when I was about 4 or 5, I remember going to watch him play on a Sunday. And then I picked up maybe a year or two after that and playing for my local team.
When did you get picked up by Hutchie Vale?
Um, Must have been maybe 8 or 9 year old. Yeah, about 9 year old, I think. It's at ACOTS Gangs, who were just my local club. Um, and then I think Hutchie Vale had always been known for bringing through good players, and I think for whatever reason, my mum and dad just took me there, and yeah, it was the best thing for me.
Why do you think they are so successful at bringing through young players?
Um, well, the coach I had there, Tam Smith, is kind of. I think he runs it. He's a brilliant coach. He's one of to this day still one of the best coaches I've had. He kind of, especially at that age where you don't know what you're doing. You're just having fun, aren't you? But he kind of you know taught me, and there was a few boys in our team who were decent. Taught us how to actually properly play football. Um, so I suppose they've kind of got a name for it now, don't they? Of bringing through players. So I think if you're a decent young player and you're going there as a young kid.
When you were at Hutchie, at what age did you kind of start hearing about other interests? Because I always remember hearing you would be on trial at like Man United, I think Liverpool as well. Eh?
Yeah. It was about 12-year old, I think. I went on, like you say, I had loads of trials. I was down south like every other week having trials at clubs. But down there, you can't sign down there until you're, I think it's 16, 15, 16, whatever it is. So it was more just kind of just ticking along well to see if a team would sign me. And I had a few offers down there, but it just, at the time, I was a shy kid, so I didn't really want to move away too far from home.
What was it like at that age? Like constantly going down, like you say, every second week, Man United and that.
Yeah. You just kind of you just live in the moment, aren't you? You're not really getting too hyped up by it, especially at that age where you're just enjoying football, aren't you? You tell your mates, "Oh, I'm down at United this week, I'm down at Liverpool this week," and it's all good in that. But obviously you're so far away from actually being a footballer at that point. But it was good. You're getting to see the facilities at that age. It's just it's a different world down there.
You stayed at Hutchie till you were 15, was it?
So I went from there to Celtic when I was 15, and then I was kind of there for 6 months from the summer to January to when I signed to when it was my birthday in January before I could sign my first deal at Celtic. So Yeah, I was 16 when I signed my first deal at Celtic.
I think that benefited you playing boys club until you were 15,
Yeah,
and then
definitely.
naturally moved to others.
Yeah, because I had mates who went on to play or the sign for like Hearts, Hibs at that kind of 13, 14-year-old stage, and some of them aren't playing now, so I don't think it really matters too much. I just enjoyed my football at the time. I didn't, I just it was a hobby, wasn't it? And then obviously when you sign a pro deal, it becomes your job. So I was just kind of just trying to enjoy my hobby as much as I could before it got serious. And yeah, it's at that age as well, at 15, 16, it's quite a lot like. But nah, I definitely made the right decision leaving leaving Hutchie at that time. I'm glad I stayed for that many years. Yeah, we had a good team at that level. It was, like I say, that's why I stayed so long because I enjoyed it so much. We were winning every week. I ended up like 50, 60 goals a season. It was brilliant.
The midfield,
Aye,
it's
that's
ridiculous, man.
yeah, it was good. Like we used to beat teams like 8-9-0, and people will say that, oh, what's the point in that? But I loved it.
You were winning literally everything there was to win at that age as well. Eh?
It was like I say, it was brilliant. I used to just love winning things. I've still got all the trophies and awards, man of the matches, and all that stuff. So brilliant.
And what was it like coming through at Celtic? Was it pretty daunting at that
It was hard. Like they're that big a club, and at the time, for the first I signed 2 3-year deals. So I was there for 6 years, and I kind of knew towards as soon as I signed my second 3-year deal that I wasn't going to be a part of it. To be honest with you, I kind of knew at that point. Um, it was hard. They were doing so well, and you're trying to get a game in front of like Scott Brown, and that is it's hard. And I'm not saying like I should have been because he's a club captain, and you're never going to get a game ahead of him, are you? So they had other players, Cal McGregor, Tom Rodgick, and it was just it was a hard time to break through at that point.
So you ended up leaving, signing for Raith. Is that
I
basically what you're saying? The fact that it was never really a first team pathway.
I mean, nah, that was a moral of it. Like there was times where I thought I could have been a part of it. I went through periods where I was playing good football. I was scoring goals from midfield and training with the first team, training well. But like I say, it's hard to get a game in front of those players, and I knew I was kind of playing as well as I could of at one point, and I still wasn't really a part of it. So I kind of thought, like, yeah, I had to go and play first team football. And to be honest with you, I probably left it too late. I was 20, I think. I was 19, 20 before I went out on loan. I wish I'd done that when I was 17, 18, to be honest.
Just tell me a wee bit about John McGlynn. He suits you, doesn't he? After he done.
It's my second dad, John McGlynn. I love that guy. He's been everything for me. Like he's the start of my kind of footballing journey, to be honest. He allowed me to be the kind of footballer that I am today. He gave me the license to, do the things that I do in a football park. And yeah, I love him as a guy and as a football coach. He can be the most intense man alive, and I just love it. I think he's such a great guy.
The football he plays like for that level as well. Like, no many teams in Scotland really do it. No many managers fancy it.
Nah, especially at that kind of level. When I signed for them permanently, it was League One, and not many teams are doing that at League One level, trying
No,
to build from the back and play that football. So he obviously had a time at Celtic. That's how he kind of knew me. He was scouting for Celtic at that point, and he signed me permanently for Raith. So I think he learned quite a lot from like Brendan Rodgers and that about playing out from the back and playing proper football. So that benefited me to a T.
I think it benefited you signing for Raith when they were in League One rather than maybe the Championship. Maybe a bit
I
more.
I maybe so at the back end when I was leaving Celtic the season before I'd been out the full season. I had a knee injury, so I never kicked a ball that season. So I didn't really have many options at the end of that season. To be honest, it was only really Falkirk and Raith who were both in League One who were after me. Um, but it was kind of a no-brainer to go and join John McGlynn at Raith in League One. And yeah, it probably suited me because it meant, especially after that injury, that I could go and properly showcase myself and get myself back up and running. And I thought I stood out at that level because of it.
And obviously went on to win the league up to the Championship. It was a good season for you there as well. Ended up in the playoffs. Would
Aye,
that be? Do you think that would be your best personal season?
Um, maybe. It's hard to say as a full season, but yeah, we had a good team. We were playing good football, and right at the start of that championship season, we all agreed that, we don't want to just, come up from League One and avoid relegation. We had a team that could go and contend for playoff places, and we were second for a lot of the season up until a few games out, and we lost the last few games and ended up finishing third, which gave us an extra two playoff games really, which we got through. We beat Dunfermline, and then Dundee obviously beat us in that semi-final.
Think to stand a real chance of going up in those playoffs, you need to get second.
Aye, you do. It's an extra. Those extra two games are massive. You might not think that you play 30, 40 games in a season, but at that time, yeah, you could do without those two games. Like,
I think we just kind of one step too far against Dundee.
they were a decent team, but we had beat them in the season. We had already beat them in that season. We beat them at home, so we knew they were beatable. But I think we sold ourselves a bit in the first leg. I think we got beat. Maybe it was at 3-0, maybe. I think Charlie Adam ran the show that day. So, and then we ended up going up there and beating them 1-0, but it just wasn't enough. Like I said, we blew it on the first tie.
You were out of contract at the end of that season, up for Championship Player of the Year and that. You surely must have had good interest in you.
Yeah, well, yeah. The thing with me is that I play the game the one way, don't I? So I like to play it with the ball down, and there's a kind of certain manager that needs to take me on really. You can't just really throw me into a boom ball team because you're not going to get the best out of me. It's just not going to be a match. So yeah, I was kind of weighing up my options at that point, and just I found that Forest Green was the best option for me at that time.
How would you look back on your time at Raith?
I loved it. I loved it. I hope one day I do get to go back. I will go back at one point. Just because I just found such a connection with the club, the fans, and I'm watching their games all the time as well. I'm watching them play against Kelly the other night there. Just because I've still got mates there, and like I say, I do love the club. So yeah, I hope to be back one day.
So Forest Green, apart from the football, what made you fancy that? Moved in south and that.
Something different, to be honest with you, mate. It came around quite out of nowhere, to be honest. My agent just messaged me saying, "What would you think?" And I said, "Yeah, why don't we hear what they got to say?" And we had a Zoom call with them, and didn't have a manager at the point actually. So it was a wee bit difficult, but we just spoke to the recruitment man, and he said, he sold it to me. It was by the end of the meeting, it was kind of a no-brainer. I said, "Yeah, why don't we try this?" And I wanted to come down south because um, I just feel it's almost like it can be a better standard. It's more opportunities. It's an avenue to other things. And yeah, after that Zoom call, it was let's get it done.
How do you think the standard compares? Because obviously down there, they absolutely slaughter us, don't
Nah, I've never played in the Prem up in Scotland, so I can't speak for that. But it's obviously better than the Championship in League One to where I've been playing before. Um, it's a lot more physical. There's more teams wanting to play football. There's still teams that are shelling it and going route one, but just a lot more physical. There's more athletes. It's more dynamic. It is better. Like
Did you get a shot by how many games you need to play down
I did, to be fair. I didn't realise there's that many games. What is it? 46 in the league, and then you've got all these cup games as well. So I think last season I participated in 50 games, I think. So I've never done that before. Like
So travelling as well, eh? It's a bit of a killer, is it?
there's a few naughty journeys. Where I was at Forest Green wasn't too bad because it's kind of not in the middle of England, like it's more southern, but it was kind of central enough to most teams. And then you've obviously got that hike away up to Carlisle you have to do at some point. So
And tell me a wee bit about Rob Edwards. I mean, he's at Luton, the Premier League manager. What was so good about him?
yeah, he's just such a great guy, to be honest. He's a great coach, obviously, but he's a great guy. He's a great man manager. He's probably the best man manager I've had. He knows how to deal with. He was obviously a player himself, so he knows what it's like, and he knows how to deal with things going on inside the club and how to deal with certain things at the club. So, before anything, he was a good man. and he had a good team around him. So, and then he kind of had a team in front of him. Like the recruitment at Forest Green was all done kind of for him as well. So he came in and just kind of, took us from one level to another. To be honest with you.
He's obviously won League Two. He left to Watford, didn't he?
Aye, aye. So he won the league and jumped ship. But nah, you can't. There was a lot of fuss about it at the time, saying he's snaked you or whatever it was. But when you've got a club like Watford that are coming calling for you from Forest Green, it's I'm not being funny, but come on, it's a kind of a no-brainer. It's such a big club, Watford. I think they just come down from the Premier League as well, hadn't they? So I know they're funny with their managers and that, but it was an opportunity that he obviously couldn't turn down.
I need to ask you about this, mate. What are all the boys saying when Duncan Ferguson's getting announced or rumoured?
It was one of them. It's like, are you serious? Like big dunk's coming in. I'm thinking brilliant. He's Scottish. I'm in for some minutes here. But didn't last long. But he's initially it was just like, oh, I'm not sure, because you know what he's like as a football player. I don't know nothing about him as a manager at that point. As a football player, I think he's old school. Like this could be a bit naughty. But as a guy, he was brand new. I was only there, like I say, I was only there a few days before I left.
What was he actually like when he first came in?
Brand new, mate. He didn't really know any of the boys, to be honest with you. That was maybe it was a slight problem. He came in, he didn't really know any of the boys, so and he straight away kind of put his tactics out, and it was a bit like fullbacks channel ball, and I was thinking this probably isn't for me.
You've been having whiplash, man.
I'm in the middle of the park like that, but nah. As a guy though, he was brand new. I know after I left, he'd done a lot of things for the boys. I heard stories about he would do certain things, he'd take the boys out and things like that. So I think he was good that way.
What's like? Because I think when they were doing like the interviews with Sky and that, it ended up like a bit of a meme, mate. It's a bit of a circus. Like you must have. What's the weirdest story that you witnessed when you were in
Uh, I know you should. There's a few things. They're obviously a funny club, aren't they? Because of the whole vegan thing. But I can't even think any stories off the top of my head. It's a weird football club, mate. Like nothing against it or that. I mean, they are what they are, but it really is a funny football club. I mind watching the Big Dunk when he first signed, talking about the vegan burgers and that. It was
It's incredible, mate.
in the group chat. It was like, oh no. But to be fair, he had been stitched up there. His Sky cameras, burger in front of him, and all this. It was just like, nah, it was set up on it. But
He was so uncomfortable, wasn't
I'd be the same, to be honest with you. Like, because you're coming in as a football manager, and I'm coming as a football player, and straight away they're on you about the vegan thing, and you're just like, oh, I'm a football player first, and then you can like kind of go on about that. But they just throw it out there and talk about all the vegan and environmental stuff. I mean, he's there as a football manager, and I'm there as a football player. So
So is that kind of like put on you? Do you need to eat vegan in that?
so when you're there, everything supplied by the club or the chairman is vegan. So all the food. I mean, I think they do stuff with the pitch. They can't use certain chemicals and stuff like that. It's funny, mate.
You get told to eat vegan, that's when it's time to go away.
To be fair, I knew before I signed that that's what it was, and at the time I thought, it's not bad. You can. My missus she's no vegan, but she eats a lot of vegan stuff and veggie stuff and all that. So I've went through phases of eating stuff with them, corn and all that stuff. So it's no. I thought at the time it might be all right, but yeah, it's just some of the food that just it wasn't good enough. Like I feel you can make good vegan stuff, like, and there was banter in that, but then when it came down to it, like, you can have good vegan stuff. They just decided not to give us it. Like the standard of food was just appalling at times.
And what's made you leave Forest Green and fancy a fresh start at Tranmere?
Uh, well, Dunk had obviously been in the door. I was right at the end of January. He came in, and Like I said to you earlier, straight away I kind of thought this might not be for me, but I gave it what, one training session in fact, and he had a lot of players. He had about 30 players, and we done an 11 v 11, and I wasn't involved in it. So, and that's the first time in my career that that's happened where we've done a training game and I've been stood at the side. So I was a wee bit embarrassed actually at that point. I was just like, my ego got the better of me. It was just still the best thing that I'd done. Like, I had to leave the place at that point, but my ego got the better of me and thought like, nah, this isn't acceptable. I'd been playing every game before that, 90 minutes, and there's a funny story where on the pitch he's read out these two 11s and I wasn't in one of them, or either of them. So I say like, Dunk, what's happening? Like, didn't read my name out, and he's like, oh, what's your name? So I was like, cheeky, cheeky. All right. I was like, Regan Hendry. And he was just like, can I see you? Have you been playing much recently? I was
No
like,
chance.
I swear, and I was just like, nah, you're at it now, eh? And I was just like, Dunk, I've been playing every game, mate. And he was just like, I've not got you down here, just go and stand at the side. So I just stood and watched this 11v11, but he, like I say, he didn't know any of the boys. He didn't have a clue who any of the boys were. So I went straight away. The recruitment guy was there. It was another guy, Stevie Grieve. I went straight to him as the game's going on, and I said, "Listen, I'm not having this. Um, we're going to have to find a loan move for me." And thankfully, Tranmere were always interested, and we moved quickly on it as soon as that happened.
So you went and spoke to the recruitment guy whilst the training game was going on.
Aye,
Head just gone.
aye. Ed is gone, and anyone that knows me, I'm quite a calm character. Like there's no problems around me normally, but just at that point, it was just nah. I'm no. I almost felt belittled a wee bit embarrassed in that. So I was like, nah, I'm not having this. So yeah, got it done quickly after that.
You've obviously signed there permanently. How have you settled in?
Aye, brilliant. Brilliant. I'm staying in the middle of Liverpool right now, so settled in. Team's looking good this season, so I'm fingers crossed for a good season. Be a hard one, but yeah, fingers crossed.
And how's pre-season been?
Pre-season's been pre-season, and it's hard, like, but what a run in. But we survived. There's only one more pre-season game left before the season starts.
To enjoy pre-season, that.
Nah, that's wrong. I like, nah, I just want to just get like, you get a feel for the games, but they're no really that serious games. So it's like, I just can't wait for the games to start though, to be honest with you. Next Saturday is the first one.
And what's the aims for Tranmere this season? I think I noticed you said promotion last season.
Aye. So, like I said, it's probably, I don't know if you've read, but it's definitely one of the most competitive leagues this year, from what I've seen. There's a lot of teams that will be going for it. There's a few teams throwing money at it, but yeah, promotion's a word that's getting thrown around, and I'm happy to use that word as well. And we've got quite a few boys in the team that are recent promotion winners as well. So there's quite a few boys in the team that have a taste for it.
It's quite a big club in terms of fans, eh? People at
Aye,
the top here maybe don't realise that.
it's a big club, big stadium. It's obviously on the other side of Liverpool, and everyone that side kind of supports Tranmere. It's Tranmere through and through. So, um, when I was at Forest Green, we played them. It was first v second at the time. It was almost a sellout. I knew at that point that was the first time, or second time I'd played them, and I thought this club's massive. It was a proper packed out stadium, and I was like, yeah, this is brilliant. So I knew when they wanted to sign me on loan, I was like, yeah, let's get this done because this is a proper football club.
And what players have impressed you since you've signed?
There's a few, like they've signed another guy, Connor Jennings, that he had been there before. I think he scored the winner at Wembley to get them promoted a few years ago now, and he's an older head, but he's a good footballer, mate. It's people maybe think that he's came back just because he's been at Tranmere before, but he's a proper football player. And there's a few players that are just like really intelligent. We're kind of on the same wavelength. I'll be playing kind of on the left side, so I'm playing with like Josh Hawkes, who plays off the left. We're both on the same wavelength. We've signed a few strikers. Christian Dennis has scored 20, 25 goals, whatever it was last season at Carlisle.
He
So
was at
yeah,
St Mirren, eh?
I was at St Mirren as well. I think he's off the back of 20 odd goals last season for Carlisle, who got promoted as well. So we've got a chance. We're obviously not being shouted about, winning the league, but we're definitely going under the radar, I feel.
Well, wish you all the best for the season, mate. Thanks very much for coming on. Top man.
Not a problem, not a problem, mate. Been a pleasure.